Hi guys, I'm Diego Licerazo, and today I would like to show you Alien Halloween. Basically, this is a game that I created using one of my own templates, and I would like to show you how to use my templates to create your own games. So, well, let's get to it. Hi guys, like I said, I'm going to be using one of my own templates to create a new game. In this case, I'm going to call it Alien Halloween, of course, to publish it hopefully before Halloween. And the entire point is to use the alien, role-like alien that I created before, and just to show you how I just change a couple of the images, a couple of the things, and then I can create my own game. So you can find all of my templates here in my blog. You can see the entire full page, but I'm going to show you, well, at the end and usually in the intro, the link to it. And usually have here this one that says free game templates in constructive. So I have several of them. The one that I'm going to be using right now is this one, roguelike alien or rogue alien, and you can see that it's quite similar to what I have here right now. So this one, rogue alien, I'm going to publish on my personal account. This one I did publish on Windows Store, Windows Phone Store, on on the Microsoft account, basically the one that I was given as an employee. But now I'm going to be doing basically what any indie developer would do. That is to take the template that you can download here and then modify it and get my own game. So after downloading the game, after downloading the file, the KPX, then I could open it, and the only changes that I did were kind of like superficial. So you can see that I changed the background. I made everything like all the enemies. I'm going to show you the kinds of enemies that we have right now. Now our zombies to fit the Halloween, and well, the background and everything else kind of meets that theme in, well, even a black cat here. Apart from that, the only things that you have to change are the title that you can find here in the objects. So instead of roguelike alien, I named this one Alien Halloween, and kind of make certain that some things like the colors and all that in different screens were changed. Apart from that, I didn't change any of the mechanics. They are just all the same. At that point, well, you can change even much more than that. You can create new levels, you can change the logic that you can see here in this one, in this event sheet that is called game. And you have 60 events there to modify. And after that, you just have to export it and start working on that. So I'm going to do that. You can basically go here and say export project, or you can press the F6 key. So let me show you again. Export project, or F6, and in this case what I'm going to do is to export it to Windows Store. You have several options. You can pick the name, so I'm going to put a name just to make certain that I haven't created in one of my previous attempts, and you just say export. Now for Windows you have several options. You have this drop-down list here. With this one you can aim just for a Windows 8, Windows 8.1, or Windows Phone, or the one that I'm going to use that is universal. So I'm going to pick that one. That's the one that I already had picked. I'm going to say export. It's going to take a minute or so to create a JavaScript project in Visual Studio. And then I'm going to be able to open that and make a few modifications. So open destination folder. And this is already my my project, my solution on Visual Studio that I can open right away, just double clicking this one. Before I do that, I'm going to show you that if you double click here, you're going to find 3 folders, and you can see that because this is a universal solution, then you have an export for Windows, a project for Windows, a project for Windows Phone, and everything that is shared, that in this case is the logic of the game, is going to be here in shared. So quite straightforward. So let's open this. It's going to open Visual Studio, in this case Ultimate, but you can download the Express version that is free and also use it. Here on the right side, you're going to notice that your project also has 3 components that can match the folders that we saw before. So project for Windows 8, 8.1, project for Windows Phone, and everything that is shared. And there you're going to find the icons, images, the runtime, and that is basically the logic of the game. So everything that you did with the behaviors, with the events and everything else is going to be here. And then you go and check the specifics for each one of these games. So at this point, I'm going to try to run this project, and I'm going to have an error. You're going to see it right away. And it's because it's telling me that I have to have a certificate and to have to fill the publisher part of that. So you have several options here. So one is you just have to right click on your project, say store. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm kind of like lying to you. That's another step that we have to do afterwards. First, to fix really this problem and to be able to run the project locally, you just go to the package manifest. So it's this file here that it says package appx manifest. I'm going to double click on that, and you see that it's showing me this tab with a red. So it's because we have an error there. So usually you may have two different errors here. One is that you have to have a valid version number. Usually by default on construct 2 in the project, when you click here, you're going to have just two numbers here, like 1.0. Visual Studio is expecting 4. So it's really simple because then you can fill here with whatever numbering that you want. The real problem that I have right now is that I don't have a certificate. I'm not saying which publisher I am. So if you just want to run and test your project locally, you just can pick here a test certificate. So you just pick that one. You may even fill this information and just leave it empty and then say OK, and then it's going to create it. So that's not what I'm going to do because I want to publish this game today and I want to pick a certificate that is in the store. So immediately afterwards I can put it out there. So for that, what I'm going to do is go here to the project, right click, store. So that's what I was trying to do before. And the thing is that, so right click, store, and then I can say associate app with the store. So if you haven't done that before, you have to open in a website, well, your Microsoft account. And I'm going to try to open it here in another tab, and I'm going to show you really quick how you can do that. So I've already logged in, obviously, in this page, and you can see that I have an app that is in progress. So that is this one. If I wanted a new one, I could just say like submit an app, and it's going to take you through all the steps that you need to do to submit an app. So as you can see, I've already done some of them. Just to help you to understand the process, I'm going to create a small app here that is going to be a fake one, just to talk a little bit about this process, and then I'll just continue with my release here that is going to be Alien Halloween. So the first step, well, one cool thing that I see with everything here is that in every step you have a kind of like a general idea of how much time you're going to spend on that process. You can tell the longest one is this one here with the packages and the description, really. They say 30 minutes. Usually I actually spend more time with the description to make it look nice, but we are going to talk about that. So first step, app name. So at this point you have to pick a name, and you're going to reserve that name in the Windows Store. Since this is kind of like a fake one, I'm going to call it my fake game 1. So I'm not going to really use that, so I'm just going to put it there. It's checking if the name is taken in the store. It says it is. And then one of the things is that you can use this name for over a year. If after a year you haven't done anything with that game, then that name is going to be taken away from you, because that means that you're just trying to hoard names, and that's not the point. So first step, if you already have an idea what you want, it's already done. 2 minutes, less than that. Selling details. So at this point is where you give some price to your app. So by default, or well, it lets you pick here. Usually I've been publishing mine as free, but you can put anything between 99 cents and I think $999. If you have an account that is set, let's say, in the UK, Australia, Germany, obviously the currency that you're going to see here is different and some of the options are going to change, but that's it. You don't really have to care on how much they are going to charge in the different markets. Okay? So now about markets, you can see the long list of markets where your app or your game in this case can be sold. You can pick which one, so you can say I'm going to sell this game only in Algeria, Argentina and France, or you just can say select them all. So depending on what you want to do, if you just want to aim for example China or Costa Rica or whatever it is, then you just can pick that country or group of countries, or just say like sell it whatever. The other thing that you have to take into consideration is the release date. So obviously you see two options here. The first one, usually the one that I pick, is release my app as soon as it passes certification. So with this, you are going to submit your app, your game. It's going to take some time depending on how complex is your game and how, well, hard to test it is. It could take longer, it could take a couple of days. I think at the most it will take 5 days. Usually it's much less than that. Or if you're planning some sort of like marketing campaign, some sort of effort to kind of like give well, your users, your gamers, your players every like opportunity to discover your game, maybe you can say, hey, I want it no sooner than this particular day. So and you can try to get kind of like a general idea of the time that you're going to publish it. So this is cool because then you could try to aim to publish your game at a certain point and, well, do marketing around that. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it at as soon as it passes certification, since it's a fake one. Category. In this case, I'm going to pick games, but you can see that you have other categories here. And then you're going to have a subcategory. So I'm going to say games. And since this is arcade, I'm going to say that this is a role-playing game, one of my favorites. After that, you just have some requirements. Most of the time you don't really have to do much here, but obviously if you need something in particular for your game or your app, then you're going to check these categories here. So I'm just going to leave it at that and say save. You see? So services. So if you have some sort of like user authentication service, a push notification service, anything like that, you can set that with our accounts, or you could try to basically get any other service here. Since even Azure mobile services, you can tell here, so you can use our cloud solutions for whatever you may need, like to use for a leaderboard, store the profiles of your players. I don't know. You may have something there. In this case, well, it's fake, so I'm just going to save so it doesn't take longer. Now, age and rating. So depending on what you're going to do, you could be aiming to different ages. So let's say that you create the new version of Halo, and while it has violence, it has some explosions and things that are not suitable for small kids. So you are not going to pick 3 years old. You may be picking like 18 years old or 12. I don't know. It depends a lot on the content of your own game. So you're going to do that. In my case, this is a really like childlike game, so I'm just going to go for suitable for young children. And depending on the country, you may need certain certifications that you have to upload here, right? So if you have any of these certifications, any of these certificates about the rating of your game, you can upload them. Those do not have to do anything with Microsoft. So Microsoft is not issuing these certificates. So you have to find out, for example, if you're going to publish something in Brazil, then you have to find out how to get the certificate and upload it here. But that's usually a file that you can load here. In this case, again, it's a fake. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to leave it here and say save. Cryptography. So in many apps you may need to send like some important information, and you may use some sort of service of encryption. In my case, I'm not even taking information from the users or sending any information. Everything is going to be run locally, so I'm just going to say no and save. I confirm that that's the case and save. And those are basically the first steps. So you can tell that it's quite simple. That's the point where I am in my real submission. So now I have to go here to packages. So now I'm going to stop doing my fake game here, and I'm going to go to my release of Alien Halloween. Now you can, well, when you create the export on Visual Studio, the entire point is that here you're going to be able to create a package that is just a file that you can upload here on your page. So I did all this process on the website to be able to connect my game here on my desktop on Visual Studio with what the store has. So it's basically just saying like this game that I'm creating here is connected with this game that I already gave you some information about. At the end, I should have a file that I can drag and drop here, and that's going to be the game. That's what's going to go to the store. And well, let's see how I can do that. So here in Visual Studio, I should right click on my project, pick a store, and say associate app with the store. So it's going to say like, yeah, what's that going to be? I have first to sign in. So I'm going to do that. Obviously my password. So let's see if I remember correctly. I'm going to sign in. In this case, because I have set an entire like two-step notification, is going to ask me for my backup account, and then is going to send me a code. So I'll do that off screen and then log in finally. Okay, so now it logs in and is showing me the two games that I've created, including my fake game. In this case, obviously, I want to associate my game with the Alien Halloween, so I just picked that one. Say next. Now you see that I'm actually getting a publisher ID, package name, and everything else. So I'm going to say associate, and now the error is gone. So that means that if I try to run this game locally, it should work. We will see. You see this splash screen, and here it is, Alien Halloween. And then I should be able to play around and of course die immediately. So now looks a little better. So basically, if you play my other game, Roguelike Alien, you should be able to notice that the main changes are the enemies that now are zombies that are chasing me all around, and some colors and things to make it a little more like Halloween-like. Apart from that, it's just the same, and that's what you can do, and obviously start modifying your own game if you want. So I'm going to stop it, and it seems to be kind of ready. Now, one thing that you may have noticed is that the splash screen was just kind of like across there, and if we go for most of our images here, so let me show you in the Windows version, you have this folder with images. So these are just kind of like placeholders. So Construct 2 creates the all the logos that you need to submit your game. But if you submit it just like this, you're going to have your game rejected, because they say like this is kind of like a default logo. This is not really the logo of your game, so you have to modify those. The cool thing is that you have the right name right here, and you have the size immediately of the image. So then you just can create an image that is named logo and that has 150 by 150 pixels. Replace this one and then do the same with the others, and you are going to be good to go. So I have to do that. I'm going to do that off screen because I'm going to use GIMP to do that, to get some screenshots, and then I'm going to show you the result. Well, so I'm going to show you really quick how I start the process of changing an image. Usually what I do is just pick one of these images, and I have installed GIMP too. So let's say that that's an open source version of Photoshop. You can use Photoshop, you can use Paint, you can use any kind of editor that you want, but I kind of like GIMP. So I'm just going to double click on this one, logo. It's going to open it. So there you go, GIMP. And then I'm going to modify it. Depending on the game, well, you could create your own logo. You see here the image. You can create something, well, really crazy. Sometimes what I do is pieces of the same assets that I created or that I use for the game. So what I'm going to do is create a small layer on top of it, and then I can delete this one, and I have an empty image. And I could create something like, yeah, this could be my logo. Probably I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the same alien that I have here, so my main character, and a little bit of the background that I have on behind. So most of these images are open source. They are Creative Commons 0. This alien and some others, like the candies, the little ghost, they comes from Kenny. So let me look for his page. So Kenny, well, there you go, on Open Game Art. So he has his own page, but you can see that he shares a lot of his images here, and you can tell that I have used some of his. So, well, I don't know exactly which one of these packages. He has tons of things that he has shared over time. But I have used some of those. The zombies come from a different package completely, but all of them are like open source or well, Creative Commons. So I usually use those, and that's what I'm going to use for mine. So if you give me 1 second, I could try to get you the right one. I should have it here. So where is it? Others for from game art, and you see the tons of images that I have already here, and I'll do that off screen. Okay, so I have changed the images, and you can see that now they fit. I'm going to show you this little one. So preview. So this is going to be what you're going to have in the store. You can put obviously whatever you want. You can just leave a color or something like that, but this is one of the things that attract the attention of players. So if you make it a little more polished, it's going to be good. After that, other thing that I've just changed is to use some of my templates for these 3 HTML pages. So these ones obviously are talking about privacy and support, like it says. I do have some templates that I have used in previous games, so I just keep like using them and just modify them. I can modify this just with my notepad, and you see directly here. So this one was for my previous game for the template, so roguelike alien. In this case I want it to be for Alien Halloween, and almost everything else is the same. So I'm just going to well, everything. Yes, come and of course I made a mistake. I'm going to copy this here and here. So almost everything else is the same, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Why are these important? Well, basically because otherwise they may give you some problems in the certification process. And of course, if your players see that you put all this effort there, they are going to appreciate more, well, the quality of your own game. After this point, I guess that if I go here, I should be able to see my images on Visual Studio. So you can see that they are right there. So what can I do at this point? Well, first I'm going to close GIMP, so I don't use that, at least not at the moment. I will have to use it again in a few minutes. So right now what I should try to do is to check if my game is going to pass the WACK. So to do that, I just go here again, right click on the project, go to store and say create app packages. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to create my app package. Next, it's going to ask me to log in again. Well, in this case it didn't because I haven't closed Visual Studio. So yes, this is the package that I'm going to create. I usually copy this just in case. Say create. I guess I can open directly the location here. So this is where the package is going to be created. This is the file that we will have to use if everything goes okay. And then this is the WACK, Windows App Certification Kit. So what this is going to do is to run a series of tests with your game that are automatic and that cannot check most of the things that are going to be checked anyway on certification. So if your game is not going to be able to pass WACK, you still may send it, but the chances of that game or that app passing certification are lower. So in this case, I hope, because I haven't done much changes from my original template, that I should be able to pass it. At this point, you only are required to let the machine run. It may take several minutes. So well, first is telling you here, pick what do you want to test. So I'm going to say everything, and I'm going to stop the video right before I say next, because what it's going to do is I'm going to let the machine do its own thing for like 15 minutes. I'm not going to force you to watch that. And then it's going to tell you a report that is going to say yes, it passed or not. I'm going to show you that when it's done. So at this moment, I'm going to stop the video. So after like 4 minutes, basically this is the result that I get. So obviously passed, it's going to appear here in red, really clear, failed in case that it didn't. And in any case, you can just click here to view the results, and it's going to show you, if, especially if it failed, what is the test that it fails. So this could be really great to find out what happened, and you can get like your nice report right there. So I'm going to say finish, and basically my game is kind of like ready to be uploaded. So what I'm going to do, if you remember that I opened the Explorer, File Explorer, to have this package open, is because this is well, this folder open is to get this file, and you see that it says upload. Well, that's because that's what I'm going to use to upload it to this step that we left here on the site. So what I'm going to do is really simple, just drag and drop. There you go. It's going to tell you like, yeah, while I'm uploading, it's going to detect if this is going to be created for Windows 8 or Windows 8.1. So there you go. So it tells you the name. And whenever you have like several versions, you have packages here, and you can decide like to eliminate them. This is really great in case that you find an error, something critical in one of the versions of your game. You can perfectly delete one of these here and go back to one previous version that you hopefully know that is stable. So this was the entire step. So you can tell that it takes several steps, several small details. Not all of them are mandatory, but they can help you to make a more polished game. So I'm going to say save. and we're going to check really quick the next step, description and notes to testers. So description usually takes a few minutes because there are many things that you have to add here. I'm not going to show you all of them because some of them I still don't have ready at this point. But I'm going to explain in general. So the description is basically what you're going to have in the store, and it's really important to have like something attractive to the players, because they are going to read this. It's like, I see that it's a game, but what is it about? So if you put something here engaging, more players are going to download it. The same thing goes for screenshots. So you can add to up to 9 screenshots, and you have here the sizes that you can put and the maximum size of each one of these screenshots. I'm going to show you a trick for that in a second, but you can put everything here that kind of relates to your game. Then you can put, well, notes. If you, for example, well, it's giving you there, if this update, if this is a new version of your game, then what is important, why this version is cool, or whatever it is. And then the keywords are also quite important, because that helps people to find your game or your app in the store. Then you're going to have some images here. These are not mandatory, but are used for promotional purposes if at some point you may need that. And the same thing here for your website. It's always good to have a website there, and supporting contact information is also good to have here. So this may take some time, especially for me, take some time to create some nice images to put here, and also here on the promotional images. So I'm not going to spend tons of time in this one, and I may show you at the end. So at the moment, what I'm going to say is like, my game, I'm going to save it like that, and to show you really quick the next step and a trick. So the node to tester, you have to think that the entire certification process includes the participation of, well, some testers. So we do have some people that check your apps. They check for certain technical like problems that you may find there, and for like consistency, and you can see like the kind of things that errors that you may find there. I have made so many of them that is almost ridiculous, but it's really good to put like notes here. You know, like the purpose of my game is this, so they know how to test it, they know how to play it, and then figure out if your game is good or not. Or if you're making up an update, to say what are you updating, like only the images or the entire game mechanics have changed, or whatever it is. So you have to consider that these are humans. So any instructions that you can put there, any information that you can give them, is going to make their life easier, and then they are going to spend less time checking your game. It's going to be much easier for them to figure out that is right, or to find out where are the errors. So I usually use this and put like as detailed notes as I can. Sometimes it's not needed because it's something really simple, so I would still do it that anyway. So the other thing that I was going to show you is that to create the screenshots for my game, Visual Studio has a small tool. So if you right click again, how we have been doing before, and again go to store, maybe you saw before that there's a third option that we haven't checked. We already used this one, associate app with the store and create app packages, but we haven't used this one, capture screenshots. So in this one, you're going to have an emulator that is going to run your game, and then you can take screenshots of your game and use them with the right size. So I'm going to say okay, run that emulator. It's going to completely create a new desktop, a new machine here, so it's a copy of mine, and you can see here that I can start taking screenshots. So here in this one you can take a screenshot, so I'm going to wait for a second over there. After capturing several screenshots, I uploaded those screenshots in the description step of the process. So I have 5 here at the moment. I took a little bit more than that. Usually you will have those pictures that are generated in a folder similar to this, Pictures Windows Simulator, and you can see the ones that I took down here. You also can see the ones that I took for my previous game, roguelike, and a couple more. But the entire point is that you should upload them in the right step, and each one of them should have a description that is, well, kind of like enticing players to get your game. After that, I'm just going to kind of like cut this process to finish all these other parts of the steps, and then show you how I submit the. So this would be the last step, that is just to put a note to testers like I told you before. I'm just going to say this game is using my template from the roguelike alien game that was published with my Microsoft account. That's it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to show you really quick the previous step, that was the description, and then I'm just going to submit the game. So like you see, I just filled the description, put some of the features that I think that are important. I already filled the descriptions for all the pictures, gave some of the fields, some of the keywords that I think that are going to be important, created some promotional images that show the game, and fill my website support and privacy policy fields. After that, the game is ready to be sent, and I'm just going to submit for certification. After this, you're going to see that there are several steps that need to be completed. This one doesn't take really that much, the same thing. This is the one that could take long, because that's where one of our testers would get involved. Now, depending on the game, or depending on the app, and depending on the time of the year, it could take a little bit longer than others. Like they put here that up to 5 days, but to be honest, usually it's much less than that. It could be even just a few hours if you are kind of like lucky at the time that you send the game. Anyway, they are going to send you an email telling you when your game has been published, and then you are going to be able to get a link that you can post to your friends, so you can download your game. After this, basically you could go for a similar process to publish also your Windows Phone game. In this one, the images that you will have to change are a little bit different, the size, but still wouldn't be that much complicated to do. If you already did it for the Windows Phone, then the images here for the Windows Phone, for the Windows version, then for the Windows Phone doesn't change that much. You will have like some more images, different sizes, because obviously they have to be displayed in a different screen, but it's basically the same process. So if you have this one ready, you can do this one too. I may go for and create another video just for the Windows Phone version soon. At the moment, I think that kind of covers most of this game. You kind of have an idea of how to use my template, and please let me know if this was useful, and hopefully you enjoy some of my games too. Well, I hope that you liked the game and you liked the video. I think I was trying to cram a lot of information there, so hopefully it's going to be of some use to you. Please let me know if you have any other subjects that you would like me to cover. I can get into more detail on any of them. I've been making like some videos lately to kind of answer some questions that were created after people watched the video. So that's really cool. So let me know and have a great day.